Oh man, this is an emergency Bitcoin TA update because this market could be set to explode again. Yes, Bitcoin here was moving to the downside yesterday, breaking down from the symmetrical triangle pattern. But exactly as we covered off in our TA yesterday, we got the critical bounce at the first pivot point, avoiding a move down to 40,000. And now we could be Uno reversing this back to the upside in what could be a very, very important move. I'm going to share with you exactly what pattern is now playing out, plus my latest price target and what this could mean for the wider market. Smash up likes. Do not forget to subscribe, guys. As you can see here, markets are starting to get a bit festive, and you can see here many of the altcoins, particularly the meme coins, are really festive right now. You can look at Bonk up, another 58%, incredible move here to the upside. The BitGet token, which is one of the exchanges I like to use, linked in the description, is also up 32%. Very interestingly, Injective continues its move to the upside, as does Woo as well. But more importantly, all of this is based off the fact that Bitcoin bounced very strongly yesterday, and it should not be a surprise. If you guys have taken my TA course, ijazcrypto.com/TA, you will know that when you have patterns like this, which is a very common symmetrical triangle, everybody thinks that is very obvious to trade this and short to the downside, and they start shorting in this direction. The problem, however, for those inexperienced people is market makers know exactly what they're doing. The more experienced traders know exactly what they're doing. And what they do is they wait here, sitting at pivot point 1, to start longing from here. So many times, and I've said this many times if you guys are watching my videos, when you see these patterns break out, they often then start moving to the upside once they've liquidated all the stop losses. And vice versa. When it breaks the upside, sometimes it liquidates stop losses and then moves longer term to the downside. So you have to be very careful when trading these very amateurish, they're important. They're not amateurish, sorry, but you got to trade it in the right way, right? Everybody knows that these symmetrical triangles break to the downside, fine, so you trade it here, but you got to remember that afterwards you can see these bounce to the upside. And what do you notice? When a symmetrical triangle breaks to the downside, but then bounces like we've seen here, what do we form? I'm going to show you guys. What is it we form? We form a W pattern. Absolutely. So when you have a triangle breakdown, anytime it then bounces, you officially start forming a W pattern. But what is a W pattern? A W pattern is a double bottom reversal pattern, which normally indicates that the trend can reverse. This is the opposite of a double top pattern or an M pattern. An M pattern normally suggests you're going to fall to the downside, and we got one exactly here. Boom, we fell to the downside. And now we're forming a W pattern like I'm sharing with you here, suggesting we could be moving to the top side. But in order for that to happen, we got to do a couple of things, right? We got to get above the neckline, and straight away already you can start seeing a little bit of softness. Very normal. But you're waiting for a big candlestick to push us through, retest, and then start working our way here to the upside. And if you want to take the measured move, what is the price target of this move? Well, you take the measured move like so, and again, all of this is taught ijazcrypto.com/TA. That's my TA course. You're going to learn all this stuff. This shouldn't be the first time you're seeing this. You should have seen these patterns playing out because you're learning it yourself, right? I want to teach you guys how to fish. Hold up. Are you tired of worrying about the security of your cryptocurrency transactions? In this crazy world that is crypto, protecting and preserving our digital assets is everything. And for that reason, I partner with NordVPN, the best VPN service for crypto traders. With NordVPN, you can be sure that your online transactions are completely secure and your identity is hidden from prying eyes. Their military-grade encryption technology makes sure that no one can access your data, even on public Wi-Fi networks, so you can trade with complete peace of mind anywhere, anytime. Guys, seriously, don't risk your hard-earned crypto and NFTs for the price of a coffee each month. They've also offered a free month and up to 60% off their plans. Oh, and they've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. Guys, seriously, it's a small price to play for a rapid, safe VPN. Definitely check it out. Link is in the description. ijaz.uk/NordVPN. And let's get back into this video. And so when you apply that price target, look where it takes you. Again, no coincidence that it takes us to very important resistance level, which is 45.7. And that is what I'm looking out for. And the reason that's so important here on Bitcoin is that will officially give us our higher high, right? If you look at the previous move, we came out of this triangle, broke to the upside, consolidated down, but we got to break this peak. Where we got rejected last time was around that 44.5 level, right? You can see just there, just shy. Can we now go get a higher high and keep this trend moving to the upside? Now, there's a few risks, right? What are those risks? I can hear you guys screaming down the lens. Well, what if we get rejected by the neckline? Absolutely. This pattern becomes invalidated if we get rejected and sent in this direction, right? Then it becomes a bearish pattern with a lower price targets down to the downside again. So you guys have to be very, very cautious right now. This is very important that you get above the neckline, consolidate, and start moving towards the price target. It's not a guaranteed boom off we go straight to the moon. No, this, as you can see, it can soften to the downside as well. Now, if we bring out the EMA ribbon, what do we notice? The first thing you'll notice is we're still consolidating here on the 4-hourly time frame. But what do you notice on the daily chart? On the daily chart, yesterday, along with today, is the bull's attempt to bounce from the EMA ribbon, right? Ever since this period on the 6th of December, right, it's the last 2 weeks or so, Bitcoin's been consolidating. It's come downwards into its EMA ribbon. Now, you're seeing a bounce here. But it doesn't mean that we're out of the woods, because if you go back a couple of days, we had a bounce from the EMA ribbon as well. You had 3 days of bouncing, and then we got rejected again. And now we're trying to bounce again, but we could easily get rejected again. The only thing that helps us out here is, can we form this W pattern and go post that higher high? Just get above that peak there. If you get above that peak there, you're well on your way to keeping this uptrend alive, bouncing from the EMA ribbon, and that's where things start to look good, right? If Bitcoin can do this and start moving up and then down again and then create another higher high, it's going to keep its upwards trend, and that's what you want here. And if that happens, you will see altcoins starting to move to the upside as well. We also need to check in on the dollar index as well. The dollar index eventually turning yesterday into a down day, today opening up pretty much flat, as are the traditional markets as well. Again, stock market are pretty flat today after what has been an impressive rally. Let's face it, risk is firmly on right now, right? Market participants understand what the Fed said last week, which is we're pricing in at least 3 rate cuts next year. Market participants think on a longer term basis, and what they're understanding is that we're starting to loosen monetary policy, and that is why dollar index cannot maintain a trend right now. The only trend it's maintaining here is to the downside. It ran into its EMA ribbon, it got rejected, and this is good for Bitcoin. That being said, you don't want to get caught on the wrong side, right? Bitcoin can cool down to its weekly EMA ribbon, just like the dollar index can go and do this. If the dollar index decides to do that, that could be 3-4 days of pain for Bitcoin, and you guys don't want to get caught out on the wrong side of that, because if dollar index does that, guess what Bitcoin's going to do? Bitcoin will do exactly this and come deeply into its EMA ribbon. And again, I maintain that if Bitcoin does get rejected from the W pattern that I mentioned, and we come into this zone here, into the EMA ribbon, anywhere between that kind of 40, and if we go lower than 40, I'll be nibbling even more. I want to be adding to my position. Not financial advice. You guys have to do your own research, but that's personally what I want to be doing in this market. If the W pattern does play out and we get that higher high, fantastic. The upward trend can continue, and that's great for Bitcoin. But that being said, on the weekly chart, look where Bitcoin is. Look at that, guys. Like, how can you feel confident when Bitcoin is just so parabolic away from its EMA ribbon? Now, that being said, you don't bet against it. I definitely would not bet against it. Bitcoin has a habit and an ability to break away from norms of TA. It'll just do what it wants. When it wants to pump and it wants to catch a pump, look, it's done it before. Look how extended it was away from the EMA ribbon, and it just kept going. Everyone must be like, yeah, sure, it's going to cool down. Of course it's going to cool down. And it doesn't. That's why I try not to sit back and out of this market. I want to keep DCAing into this market. Yes, I was lucky enough to buy Bitcoin cheap. Yes, I did my DCAs at 15,500 and 17 and 18 and 20. But that doesn't mean I'm not okay to buy now. I am. All I need to do is make sure the cards are stacked in my favor. And the best way I know how to do that is to wait for pullbacks into EMA ribbons and to wait for days where the markets are calling off, where the markets are fearful. So if, for example, here, when we're in the EMA ribbon, markets are less confident, I'll take a nibble. I'm not going to go crazy. But if we come deep into the EMA ribbon, potentially where some start to go, hang on, this is going to pull back all the way down to 30 and 25. These moments here, that's when I want to be buying. And in those moments, fear and greed knocks back, right? Right now, it's still at 73. That's firm greed. Yes, it was at 65. Look at the fluctuations you can have. A couple of red days and the market will start panicking again. And that's exactly where I'll start to pull up my sleeves. When I see that blood in the market, we saw a little bit of that early yesterday and the day before, right? When Bitcoin was kind of in the red. That's when I want to be doing my work. That's when I want to be DCAing. But I'm not going to be FOMOing in, very patient, waiting for positions of strength, because if I can get into a habit of buying deep into the EMA ribbon, every time buying along these kind of areas here, I know that my cost basis is going to be low, right? I'm not going to be the guy chasing green candles. I'm not buying at the peak of every single move, and I'm always getting myself a bit of a discount, and it makes a difference. I mean, if you're that person buying at the peak here versus waiting for the bottom of the EMA ribbon, it's a 13% difference on spot Bitcoin. It's a lot. If you're DCAing over time, that really does make a difference. So there you go, guys. I'm watching watching this W pattern carefully. If you guys want updates throughout the day between my videos, ijazcrypto.com/TG is our trading community. If you're into crypto trading, if you want the latest alpha, even for your investments, make sure you're in there. So many like-minded people sharing insights, sharing advice. Make sure you jump into them, be a part of that community. I look forward to seeing a bunch of you. Thanks for watching. Smash the likes. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.